Huh? Eid al-Fitr, before the Salah of Eid al-Fitr, it's around $10 or $12 per person. Even if the lady is pregnant, well, she will have to put for that. So a family of 4 or 5, multiply 5 times 12. You are good with math. 5 times 12 equals? Good job. So it's not only about what we do every year. Since people here are traditionally, they will come just an hour before the Eid al-Fitr, or maybe probably most of the time a minute before we say Allahu Akbar, and they will pay the money. We estimate the amount of money, and we come up with a certain number. And back in 1996, probably through 2004, 2005, we used to send them abroad. We would go to one of the Islamic societies, ESNA or ECNA or whatever that is, and we'll send them the money. Starting 2005, there are lots of needy people here, and we cannot even cover it. We have people filing a request, we need that. And they need it for basic needs. And our estimate of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 cannot cover anything. Anything. And you want the spirit of Ramadan, you want the technicality of Ramadan, that's where the technicality of Ramadan is. I'll keep moving, and we'll go to the worship. Worship is the easiest part. Worship is the easiest part of Ramadan. Worship is ibadah. And ibadah is the concept of our being. مَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We are created to worship. Worship is 24 hours, 7 days a week. Anything you do is worship. Coming here is worship. Taking a picture if for good intention is a worship. Eating this if it's for good intention is worship. It depends on your intention. Going to work, going to study, it depends on your intention. It is a worship fi sabilillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, depending on the intention. Ramadan is no different. I am fasting not because I'm dieting. I don't need to diet. In fact, I'm very good as I am. But for those people who need to diet, like Mu'adh, for example, that's not a good enough excuse for Ramadan. No, it's your intention. I'm not eating, I'm not drinking because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told me to do that. This is the concept of worship. When do we start fasting? The technicalities. When do we start fasting? When? Fajr. Before Fajr. After Fajr. In the middle of the Fajr. Right on Fajr time. In fact, before people, for safety reasons, they stop. They have what's called imsak, and then there is Fajr. In fact, just 1 minute before Fajr is okay. حتى يتبين الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. يتبين means till you are sure. تبين means I am very confident that I can see the light. So it's okay to push it, but don't push it too far. Make sure that it is before Fajr. You don't have to do it 10 minutes, you don't have to do it 15 minutes. Siyam comes, you don't eat, you don't drink, you don't do anything bad, and so on, till sun sets. When do we eat? How far after sunset? Right on sunset. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ says that al-khayr fi ummati, the good in my people, as long as they do the suhoor and as long as they do the iftar as quickly as possible. In adab al-siyam, one of the good morale of fasting is immediately at sunset. There are people who would delay it half an hour or 45 minutes. In fact, most of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says مَا عَجَّلُ الْفِطْرَةِ, that they do the iftar as quick as possible. Tarawih, what's Tarawih? Salat al-Layl, Salat al-Qiyam. Salat al-Qiyam, you can do it 12 months of the year. Nothing about Ramadan specifically for Salat al-Qiyam. You can do it any time you want. How many rak'ahs you do it? You can do as many as you want. You can do 2, you can do 4, you can do 8, you can do 20, you can do 50, whatever you want. Traditionally, the Prophet ﷺ did it at the beginning in Jama'ah. He did it where people were gathered together and he will do it. And he said that's going to be very hard on my people. When the Prophet does something, that's shara. When the Prophet does something, that's sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and we try to follow. So the Prophet said, I'm not going to do that حتى لا أشق على أمتي, so that I'm not going to be tough on my people. So he decided to do it at home. Whoever wants to join him, join him. Who doesn't want to do that, he will not. So there's no embarrassment to anybody. So he's not forcing it on anybody. Then comes Umar ibn al-Khattab. And Umar ibn al-Khattab is one of the Khulafa number 7, 8? 2. And he find in his own mind that people are doing it, everybody is doing it. They know the Prophet used to do it, so they decided to do it. And he saw that each and every individual is doing it. And they are doing it at home. This guy's doing it at home, this guy's doing it at home. He said, let's bring them together. Why don't we bring them together? So it's sunnah, doing it. And it is something that is nice to do it in jama'ah. You want to do it at home, you do it at home. You want to do 8 rak'ahs, do it. You want to do 20 rak'ahs, you do it. Traditionally, what we have been doing here in Charlottesville is we are doing 8 rak'ahs. And in fact, we used to finish the Quran maybe 3 times during the month of Ramadan till we heard so many complaints that people are reading too much and so on. And we are doing it very slowly now so that we finish it only once by the end of Ramadan. One of the adab of Ramadan in worship, speaking about that, is Qira'at al-Quran. How does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala define the Shahr Ramadan? Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He wants to define this month, He defines it. This is the month that the Quran was revealed. So they are closely linked together. Ramadan equals Quran. Quran equals Ramadan. And in fact, there is something in common between these two things. Both of them, according to the Prophet, they come at the day of judgment. كشفيعان. Shafi'a. Anybody knows what Shafi'a is? Intercession. Interceding in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يأتي القرآن والصوم. يقول الصوم, and the fasting says, O Allah, I have prevented him for your sake from eating and drinking. So intercede for his. And comes the Quran says, O Allah, he read me and he followed me. So intercede for this person. Closely linked together. This is the worship in Ramadan, and it should be during each and every month. Although Ramadan is the month of Quran, Shawwal happens to be the month of Quran. Dhul Qa'dah happens to be the month of Quran. Dhul Hijjah happens to be the month of Quran. Muharram, Rajab, each and every month, Muharram, Safar, Rabi', whatever month is the month of Quran. It's highly acclaimed during the month of Ramadan, but it is not going to be missed. What we do is, during the month of Ramadan, it's in our hands. 11 months out of the month, it's where? In the cupboard, in the closet, collecting dust. Collecting dust. And the Prophet says, رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my people have abandoned the Quran. My people. We are the people of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says, O Allah, my people have abandoned the Quran. They have abandoned reading it. They have abandoned reciting it, memorizing it, following it. It doesn't exist in their life anymore. It doesn't exist. It exists in the month of Ramadan, maybe, during Taraweeh, and that's it. That's the extent of our constitution. Our living constitution is 29 days or 30 days out of the month. And only during the 1 hour, 2 hours. Something very characteristic of Charlottesville. You come during Maghrib time, which is a very, very nice time. We gather together and we have iftar together at the masjid. And you happily find 40 or 50 or 60 people. Very nice. You come to Isha and you find 7 people. Especially after the first week has ended. The first week you'll find more than that. But after the first week, that drop, day 8, the drop is sudden. Day 1, 2, 3, wow, there are people here. Wow, we are happy. Day 8, you can park your car very easy. Nobody is blocking me. I can park very, very easy. I can leave whenever I want. That's happening. And then they re-emerge again the last week of thing. What does the Prophet say about Ramadan? The first 10 days are what? The middle 10 days are what? And the last 10 days are what? In English, please.
The first 10 days are like mercy.
Mercy.
The middle 10 days are forgiveness.
Maghfirah, absolutely.
And the last 10 days are going to be
forsaken from hellfire. Each day has a meaning. The first 10 days they have a meaning. The middle 10 days they have a meaning. The last 10 days have a meaning. What would you choose? Do you want to choose mercy or forgiveness? You want forgiveness or forsakenness from hellfire? Or do you want all of the above? Let's make a choice. Okay, let me move so that not to take much of your time. I took already too much. The last thing is the continue. Please make the good word continue. C, and C is community. And you are the community. And again, every year they tell us what's MSA and what's ISCV, and so far I have no idea what's the difference between that. A community is a Muslim anywhere, everywhere. Regardless of your nationality, regardless of your background, regardless of your gender, regardless of everything, you are community. Regardless of who you are community. We are one and the same, whether you want it or not. Ramadan is a month that really, over the years, and that's a very, very positive thing. The people that I have got to know, that I have kept my relationship over the years, I've been here in Charlottesville for 15 years. Probably I know in each and every country somebody that I knew from the masjid in Charlottesville, and mainly from the month of Ramadan. Month of Ramadan has something very peculiar. It brought you here today. Or maybe that brought us here today. It brought me at least. It brought us here today. It's the month of Ramadan, the concept of the month of Ramadan that brought us here today. When we come together at the Maghrib time to have iftar together, even though sometimes the food is going to be late, and sometimes it's not going to be coming at all because we forgot who was supposed to have it, and we mess up a lot. We do that, sorry, but it happens. But just being together is a community. We try to do every Sunday iftar somewhere else, where we are together as a whole community. And unfortunately, year after year, you go to these potlucks, and you will find this country together, and that country together, this country together, divided based on their language and divided by ethnicity and so on. And you, second generation, are much better than the first generation. First generation, they are still having their package from back home. I am from this country, I speak this language. You don't have that. I hope you don't. I hope you mingle more and more together and forget who you are, except that you are Muslims. Community is a very huge essence of the month of Ramadan, and we have to keep building on it year after year after year, and so on. This year, just to finish, we have been having board meetings, and we're trying to see if we can have our prayers in the Eid, as Brother Saad promised us many months ago that we'll have the prayers in the masjid, in the new masjid. Who has been to the new masjid? Okay, when was it? Who has been in the new masjid during the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Okay. The new masjid right now has been finished from the outside for many months. From the inside now, there are no doors yet. But as you enter, there are floors. The walls are there. The walls are painted already. The carpet for the musalla is there, but they are waiting for the doors to be. So what's missing now are the doors and the fixture for the plumbing. According to the contractor whom we met yesterday, he said he's finishing within... You're going to say it, I'm not going to say it. I have promised so many times that I can.
5 months.
What did he say?
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. He said in 2 weeks that he's going to finish. So we were discussing whether we will be having Taraweeh at any time in the masjid, whether we'll have Eid prayer in the masjid or not. Many people sitting there had a very strong feeling that we should have the Eid prayer in the masjid. Others did not have the same feeling. The Eid prayer is going to be on a weekday. Parking is going to be a problem. We have only, out of the 3 floors, we are finishing the musalla area, which is will take 350 people. Usually, tradition in Eid, we have 700, 800 people. So one way is to squeeze together, or really to have a community feeling where we really squeeze together. 2 Jum'ahs ago, I was praying in the Haram al-Makki.